Good evening, gentlemen. A warm welcome from the brethren of Olaf. A warm welcome from the brethren of St. Olaf to the visiting brethren from the area and from other guests from near and far. This is our first Burn Supper under the leadership of our new Right Worshipful Master, Mr. Gordon Daly. Some of you may not know Gordon, but he's a cracky lad, a mischievous chap, and a lovable rogue.
You do your knees.
With Christmas not long past, he reminds me of the modern era of the trend, which is the elf on the shelf. For those who are not aware,
you don't do that
for those who are not aware of the elf on the shelf, he's a wee lad who rocks up in December and generally wreaks havoc and causes chaos in your house for 25 days. Here at St. Olaf, we are lucky enough to have Gordon's presents all year round. So he's not exactly our elf on the shelf, more like our dwarf on the north. So on behalf of our Right Worshipful Master and the brethren of St. Olaf, many thanks to you all for joining us tonight, and I hope you have had an enjoyable evening so far and will continue to do so as the night unfolds. For those who don't know me, my name is Andy Phipps and I am, or maybe was a member, of this here Lodge St. Olaf 1188. So when our Gordon Daly asked me to give the toast to the lassies, I said I'd think about it, but I wasn't sure if I could do it. He then quickly thanked me for agreeing to do it as he scuttled off as fast as we let him take him as he exited the lodge, and here we are. I have to confess that I've only ever attended one formal burn supper and therefore had to go and look up what was expected from the toast to the lassies. My hopes were immediately dashed when I realised that I had nothing to do with that incredible dog who saves so many children from abandoned mine shafts every year. So right that wrong, please raise your glass to the wonder dog.
It's a lassie.
Following my extensive research, the sources that I came across states that this toast is designed to praise the role of women in the world today. This should be done by selective quotation from Burns' work and should build towards a positive note. This is when I realised that the previous 2 evenings I spent laughing to myself in a dark corner while scrolling through crude and sexist jokes may not have been the most ideal preparation, and therefore I was back to the drawing board. I then sat back and thought to myself, what was it that made this Robbie Burns lad so special that people worldwide come together to celebrate him every year? My findings show that there were 2 things to which our Baird excelled at. Firstly, the skill that resonates with the ladies is his poetry and grateful way with words. The second, and most important, he is highly regarded by men for being a master of seduction with the lassies and his ingenious way of getting away with it by composing lovey-dovey confessions of his rogue-like ways. The man's nothing short of a genius. Imagine that tactic being used by us in today's world, gentlemen. My darling wife, I have to confess that I've been unfaithful, but please, hear me out through this poem I've written in order to redeem myself and earn your forgiveness. It was a Saturday night whilst I was down in the killie. I seen a beautiful lass and felt a twinge in my willy. I jumped up from my seat and fell to the ground, then landed back to hers where we then fooled around. Instead of being lauded, gentlemen would be left homeless, penniless and divorced. Anyway, upon this newfound knowledge I now have on Mr. Burns and feeling somewhat inspired, I thought to myself, how hard can this poetry malarkey be? So gents, may I ask that you sit back, buckle up, strap yourselves in, as I try my utmost to give this toast a unique St. Olaf spin. Move aside, Ravi, put that quill down. It's 2025, Phipps is in town. The toast to the lassies is a tribute to the women in our lives, whether that be mothers, daughters, girlfriends or wives. For years men have tried and continue to fail to understand women and the traits they entail. The perfect woman is merely a myth, even if she were designed by Hiram Abiff. For centuries men have tried a number of ways to please our lassies for easier days. Centuries have passed and more rights they've obtained, like jumping naked out of a plane, and as they hurtle down to the ground, it's us men that endure that horrible whistling sound. The Me Too movement was a confusing watch, as us men only dream of a woman grabbing our crotch. Gender equality and equal pay are the rights women have fought for all of their way. They picked their battles and won their wars, yet they still aren't happy and they're needing more. What can we do, I hear you ask? Pleasing a woman is a thankless task. At last, here we have our celebrated bard, who could impregnate a lass through a Valentine's card. His silky smooth lines and well-chosen words were like a magical spell that was cast on the birds. A piece of paper and a stroke of his quill was the female equivalent of the wee blue pill. Surely just words cannot make a lassie undress. There must be more to Ravi's success. Old Ravi did give his secret away when he penciled the words to 9-inch will please a lady. Come on, Rav, give us a break. As I disappointedly look down at my own trouser snake. You're a magician with words and well endowed, while the rest of us can't find it and you're raking around. It was clear to me that I could not relate how Burns wooed the woman at an alarming rate. But the one thing that stood out loudly and clearly was that Burns considered all his women dearly. You not tend to spend time with quill in hand to write so eloquently about a one-night stand. Burns, though encapsulated by the physical beauty, knew a woman's importance to the larger society. This was clear when Burns wrote, to which I will directly quote. While Europe's eyes is fixed on mighty things, the fate of empires and the fall of kings. Well, while quacks of state must each produce his plan, and even children lisp the rights of man. Amid this mighty fuss, just let me mention, the rights of women merit some attention. Women do far more work, and the stats all show it. That not much has changed and the women all know it. But facts just aren't funny, and this verse is proof, so I'll get back to the gags and skirt round the truth. Ravi's success with women should come as a warning to others, as he fathered 12 children with 4 different mothers. No cost of living crisis or CSA to pay when spreading your seed back in the day. I often do wonder how Burns would be portrayed if he were alive at present living here in the Bay. Sat in the killie giving the barmaid a glance, conspiring the words that might drop her pants. Burns is not one to get drunk and sleepy, but horny and handsy and just plain creepy. His handwritten poems are not worth a damn unless he posted them on TikTok or Instagram. Word would get out about his promiscuous ways, with the headlines published in the P&J, 12 kids and counting, benefits cheat, while poor old Burns hides out in his house down on Main Street. He would struggle for work before being picked up by the Buccaneer, writing articles for locals and events within the community, spending hours writing chapter and verse about someone's dog who was run down by a hearse, or about local youth setting fire to bins which would not fulfil Burns' creative passion within. No more poems about Bonnie Leslie and her golden locks, but rather Sharon in her pyjamas cruising around the broch. Over time, Burns may see that the modern maidens are wild and free. No more shackles prevented to speak. The lassies now are not mistaken for being weak. They rule countries, companies, and have dreams, whilst rearing children and keep the house clean. They are incredible beings which as men strongly rely for their comfort, support, they're the glint in our eyes. At times we find them hard to understand, but lassies are often the backbone of every great man. So gents, on this note, I would like to ask that you all stand up and raise your glass. For all the women who make us happy, please give a toast to the lassies.
To the lassies.
Cheers, boys.
Excellent. Absolutely brilliant. I think whoever's organising the World Cup for next year, you better get them booked quick. So I'm going to ask the guys from the Burn Supper band to come up now. Given it's a Masonic Lodge and given it's a Burn Supper, we've called the band Third Degree Burns. So we're going to perform for you now. If I can get the guys to come up, we'll give you a few tunes. So we've got Kenny on bass guitar. We've got Joe on that guitar. You see these guitars are actually built to an approximate size. And we've got Davey with this guitar. And we've got Sandy on the fiddle.
Always on the fiddle.
So I saw a funny wee joke before I came out. So there was this guy on the IT hot desk, right? and the phone rings, and he picks up the phone and says, "Can I help you?" And this voice says, "Eggshell." And he says, "Sorry, can I help you?" And the voice says again, "Eggshell." And the guy says, "Oh, sorry, Mr. Corney, you having problems with your spreadsheet again?" Right, this first song we're going to sing is a wee song which is dedicated to our right honourable master. Well, I'm standing at the bar in the level. I'd been waiting half an hour for a jar. They said you just have to wait, Gordon's gonna be late, with a Guinness in the back of his car. Christ, you know it ain't easy. You know how hard it can be. I got a thirst that is choking. Will someone come and serve me? Well, Josh is like a fly with a blue arse. 7 other people all night. I said, "Do you think you could serve me a drink?" He said, "You give me half an hour, I just might." Christ, you know it ain't easy. You know how hard it can be. I got a thirst that is choking. Oh, someone come and serve me. Well, Ross is through the back in the kitchen, but there's nobody drinking through there. And I'm standing here without any beer. Now you try and tell me that's fair. Christ, you know it ain't easy. You know how hard it can be. I got a thirst that is choking. Oh, someone come and serve me. Well, Fitzy's looking busy as usual. He's selling raffle tickets all night. Trevor's is bad, it makes me feel mad. I've only bought down for a pint. Christ, you know it ain't easy. You know how hard it can be. Got a thirst that is choking. Will something come and serve me? Put yourself, Sandy. I'm sorry, my friend, the night's at the end. We've set the last drink at the bar. Christ, you know it ain't easy. You know how hard it can be. I got a thirst that is choking. Oh, someone come and serve me. Christ, you know it ain't easy. Well, then you wouldn't serve me. So I'm waiting in the fairways. You get a drink there too. All true, everyone. I've got another true song coming up later on, but we'll do a wee Burns song now. This is a slower one. It's called Are You Walking On It? People think when they hear this song it's about Burns walking, but it's not actually. Walking was an occupation, something to do with the cloth making industry. I'm not entirely sure what. but it wasn't to do with actually walking in the way you think. It's called I Walking O. Is that all right? Summer's a pleasant time, trees of every colour, the water runs over the hue. I long for my true lover. I walk I am weary, sleep I can get for thinking on my dearie. I walk when I sleep I dream, when I wake I'm weary, asleep I can get for thinking on my dearie. I walking, I am weary, sleep I can get for thinking on my dearie. I when night comes on, all alive or sleeping, I think on my bonny lass, I'll clear my evening greeting. I walking, I am weary, sleep I can get for thinking on my dearie. I walking. Oh, was it? Right, this next one's another Burns one. It's got a chorus, and please join in if you know it, and make a bit of noise. Well, the Jacobites find London air, London air.
The Jacobites find London air.
The Jacobites find them, their thoughts are overwhelmed.
Your doctrines are unbelief.
You shall hear, you shall hear.
Your doctrines are unbelief. What is right, what is wrong?
By the law,
By the law. What is right, what is wrong? By the law. What is right, what is wrong?
the weak are the strong. The shots
All that wrong. What is wrong, what is wrong?
the shots are gone along. Here we go.
The Jacobites find
London air, London air.
The Jacobites find London air.
The Jacobites find them, their thoughts are overwhelmed.
Your doctrines are unbelief.
You shall hear, you shall hear.
Your doctrines are unbelief. You shall hear. What makes heroic strife?
Take the far, take the far.
What makes heroic strife? Take a
Far.
this day, when we say, so that your streams alone, when we stay, so that your streams alone, our God that as we sun, and they will have in His way, in His way, and they will have in His way. The Jacobites landed, and they landed. The Jacobites landed, and they Jacobites landed, your moms and your bread, your daughters climb up mine, we shall live, we shall live. Your daughters climb up mine, we shall live.
The bad news is we'll be back later. So, next